Hi, and thanks for joining me again on Stephen Helwig Talks Tech. Today I'm going to be walking you through using Azure Cost Management to manage your costs and budgets in Azure. As we all know, one of the benefits of the cloud is that it can scale dynamically, that we have access to on-demand resources, but with great power comes great responsibility, and part of that responsibility is managing cost. Whether you work for a large enterprise that has large budgets, but you're responsible for your resources, or you're a startup trying to manage every penny, managing costs in any cloud environment is hugely important to success. So today I'm going to walk you through how you can leverage Azure Cost Management to manage your spend, to track items down to the resource group and item level, set budgets and alerts to get notified in advance so that you don't go over cost. As always, I appreciate every like and subscribe here on Stephen Helwig Talks Tech. Please share with your friends or those you know who you think this might be useful. And as always, leave a comment below if there's something you have a question about or you'd like to see a future video on a specific topic. All right, let's dig into it. Okay, as you can see, I'm here in the Azure portal, and I'm actually in the subscription section of the Azure portal. So if you have access to this area, you can go in and find your subscriptions in this left-hand menu and get to your list of subscriptions. Now, I have quite a few subscriptions here, but I'm going to dig into specifically one of them and go through the cost. But on this screen, you can already see that we're showing you the accumulated current cost of this subscription, of the various subscriptions. So all the resources that I'm using in this subscription, it's coming out to $88.12 for this period, whatever this period happens to be for the subscription. So I'm going to dig in here. I'm going to click into this subscription, and then I'm going to go down to cost analysis. Now, you already see some of it showing up here, right? Cost by resource and spending forecast. So as soon as you click into the subscription, it's showing you useful information about your spend. But on this left-hand side menu, if you scroll down, you'll notice that there is a cost analysis. There's actually a whole cost management section. And so the first area that I'm going to dig into is cost analysis. So while this is loading, you'll see that you can set different scopes, and the scopes are, what is the scope of resources that you want this chart to show data about? And right now it's set to the subscription level. So I wanted to show me all of the costs associated with that subscription. And it's showing me the accumulated costs for a specific date and time, right? So there are different views. I can show cost by resource, which it's doing some of that down here, and I'll get into that. Daily cost by specific service. So if you'd like to see, hey, what does my cost look like for my web apps versus my databases, then you could do cost by service, and then invoice details. And then I can set a date as well. Right now, it's looking at the current billing period. My billing period runs from the 24th to the 23rd. I believe might have a different billing period, right? I can look at last 7 days. I could look at a specific month range, which might be useful in a corporate scenario where you're doing chargebacks on a calendar month basis. And then I can also add additional filters if I'd like to. And I'm not going to go through all the various filters here, but I can break it down even further if I'd like. So as we look at this first chart, what it's showing me is the actual cost. So this is the actual spend that I've accumulated to date. So today is January 21st. It's showing me all the accumulated costs. This is a fairly linear chart because I have a set of resources that are running every single day. So yours might look differently if you are in a larger environment where people are spinning resources up and down, that this chart may be a little bit more jagged, I guess is a way to say it. And then it shows me what my forecast is for this billing period. So it's saying, okay, based on your current trend over this month, I'm anticipating that you will spend $98.03. Now this subscription, I have $150 with, this is a limited subscription. So I have a set amount that I get for free every single month. And it's showing me that I will use about $100 of that $150. You can also adjust some other things about this chart here, how you want the granularity. If I wanted it daily, it can adjust that, which I think it was kind of doing something similar there. And then I can also change it if I wanted, like a stacked column chart as opposed to a line or area chart. as we scroll down, we can get some more granular information here. For instance, this is giving me cost by service name. You can see that the bulk of the cost that I have here is associated with Azure App Service. So that's where most of my cost is coming from. There's a little bit of cost from Synapse Analytics, some storage costs, some database cost, log analytics, bandwidth, and then, some very small other costs or not negligible costs. It also will break it down by region. I live on the eastern part of the US, so most of my resources are deployed to US East and US East 2. And then it will break it down by subscription name. So I can see which subscription, which is a subscription that holds my personal blog, has the most accumulated cost. So this is the high level overview of the cost analysis area at the subscription level. As we go down, let's switch over and look at budgets. Okay, we're here on the budgets tab, and we're going to create a new budget. And as part of creating this budget, we're also going to create an alert. So the first thing I'm going to do here is click add, and you give the budget a name. Before I get there, actually, I want to show you that it's right now scoped to this subscription. I can change that scope, but since we've been working in this subscription, I'll put it there. And then I could also add budgets, additional filters that are related to this budget, maybe for a specific resource group, if I wanted to change the scope here, or maybe it's a specific type of resource where I'm setting a budget for my databases, for instance. But for now, a simple budget is fine. And I'm going to set this to monthly, and I want it to happen to reset every billing month, right? So every month it's going to reset that budget to 0. And the creation date, 2021, I can't set a budget in the past, and we'll go with January. And I want it to run until February of 2023. And we're going to set it to the amount that I have available in this subscription, which is $150. You can see for the most part, I've managed that really well. However, there was 1 month where I hit that limit and Microsoft shut down all the resources. So I want to prevent that from happening. I don't want my blog to shut down, for instance. So that's where I'll set that budget to $150. The next section are alerts, and I want to be notified once I'm at 75% of my budget. I think this will give me enough time to log into the Azure portal and to take any corrective actions if I needed to, whether it's shutting down an environment or deleting a resource. And I'm not going to create an action or select an action group. Action groups can be used to have a set of triggers that occur when something happens. Maybe it's kicking off an Azure function, a Logic app. Maybe it's sending a text to somebody who's on call. I don't really need anything that fancy for the subscription. I'm just simply going to put in my email address. And then down here, I will select a language, and I will click create. So it's validating here. And there's the monthly budget. So it shows the scope of that budget, the billing month. It was created 1/24, it expires 1/23, the budget, and then what's been evaluated and what the progress is. Now it'll take time to evaluate this, so we're not going to see anything in here yet. But now that budget is created, and if we go over to cost alerts, it shows no alerts to display yet. So it still might be refreshing those alerts, but there's an alert that got created with that budget. And if we click into that budget, you can see the alert condition that's set for that budget. Now that we've looked at the budget and setting a budget and setting an alert, let's go down to the resource group level and see what it looks like, what cost management looks like at that level. So I'm going to go into the resource group for my personal blog, and you can see here the set of resources that I'm using for this website. And so you can see I'm using some app services, a web app, application insights, and a little bit of storage. Okay, and so in the resource group, you can also see cost management. On here, we have a similar thing: cost analysis, cost alerts, budgets, so on and so forth. So I'm going to go into cost analysis. And it will take a second to load here, but when it does, you'll notice that the scope has been changed, right? Initially, the scope was set to subscription when we were looking at it at the subscription level. Now we're down at the resource group level, so it set the scope to the resource group, but everything else looks the same. So we have the same kind of forecast for this resource group, how much we're using versus what it's forecasting. It's looking at the invoice month, which is December 24th to January 23rd, the accumulated cost. And then down here, similarly, again, we have by service name. So the bulk of this is coming from app services. And then now we can go down to the specific resource level. So I could click on a resource and then it will adjust the other charts to show me how much that specific resource is using overall. So I clicked on the app service plan, and that app service plan is costing me about $40 a month. And you can see the trend here, which is a fairly linear utilization. Okay. In addition, you can set budgets here at the resource group level. So just like I had a budget that was scoped to the subscription, if I wanted to say, divvy up my $150 between multiple resource groups, I could go in here and set a specific budget. And of course, I could also set alerts that come with that. Thanks for joining me again here on Stephen Helwig Talks Tech. I hope you enjoyed that quick look at Azure Cost Management and a look at how to set up budgets and alerts to manage that cost. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them in the comments section below. As always, I appreciate a like and a subscribe. And if you want to get notified when I create new content, please hit that bell. All right, have a good one. Bye.